Well, this area has clearly been a key policy priority for the current government. And we've seen clearly big austerity measures hitting the welfare budget, but we've also seen some attempts at new and radical reform of the welfare system, such as the introduction of the new universal credit system. But we've also, and thirdly, seen a lot of localisation of welfare support happening, such as localisation of council tax benefit and the localisation of emergency support, which used to be provided through crisis loans. I think that this is going to be a key battleground for the next election. We've already seen some of the foundations for that set out already. I hope this isn't going to become a simple fight over which party would be prepared to cut support for the poorest the most. I hope that the discussions at the next election will be more nuanced than that, and with a genuine attempt to engage with the issues of how the welfare system can support, in particular, the process of making work pay. After all, that was the whole reason behind the introduction of the new universal credit system, which this government has been so keen to implement. I think the biggest challenge will be implementation of some of the reforms that have already been announced. So, particularly around universal credit, there are clearly some challenges to delivery that need to be addressed. But let's remember that by the time it is fully introduced, expected to be maybe 2017, 2018, half of children in the country will be in a family in receipt of universal credit. We simply have to get that right. Well, one thing that's become increasingly apparent is that in-work poverty is a key issue at the moment. We know that 2/3 of children living in poverty are now in working families, and the government really needs to take that challenge head on in the next Parliament. Part of that will be effective introduction of universal credit, but it needs to go beyond that. We need radical reform of support for childcare costs. We need more support for working families with things like free school meals, but we also need to think about how effective support with housing costs can be used to support that agenda, to make work pay and to make sure it pays enough for a decent standard of living.